When we are talking about Marvel's Ultimate Universe, opinions come in strong. Whether you love or hate the changes that Marvel made to this alternate universe's characters, they made them all the same. Now Amanda hit you with the first 2 parts, so now it's my turn to give you part 3 of the top 10 Ultimate Marvel characters better than the original. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 10 is Aunt May. Although extremely warm and caring, Aunt May in the 616 reality has often been portrayed as a somewhat bland, weak, and incredibly helpless character. Aunt May is constantly having health issues, and she's constantly worrying about Peter Parker because he's such a fragile boy. After half a century of development, the most exciting thing Aunt May has done in The Amazing Spider-Man is almost marrying Dr. Octopus. She's sweet, but I think we can do better. No offense. In the Ultimate Universe, Aunt May gets an overhaul. She's quicker, wittier, and a stronger character overall. When she finally figures out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, she handles it like anyone would, with disappointment and anger that her closest family member didn't trust her enough to tell her. After a short while, Aunt May finally accepts the fact that her nephew is one of the world's greatest superheroes. After his true identity is revealed, Aunt May becomes someone Peter Parker looks to for advice and ultimately becomes the mother he never had, which is what she should have been. Number 9, Professor X. Professor X in the Ultimate Universe is the most powerful telepath on Earth, possessing vast psionic abilities and was known as one of the most powerful mutants ever. His mutation abilities give him telepathy, astral projection, and this version experiences some telekinetic skills as well, which is different from the 616 version. But honestly, he's here because he is just a little bit morally corrupt. He does things here in the name of the greater good that his 616 self wouldn't dare. There is an obvious example when we look at what happened with Iceman. Bobby was dating a girl at the time when he was inducted into the X-Men. Now this girl had the potential to convince Bobby to leave the X-Men, and Professor X did not like that. He used his powers to erase the memory of Bobby's girlfriend from his mind, just to keep Iceman on the team. He does things like this on the regular, and they often come back to bite him in the butt, which adds a layer to his character and storytelling which I personally find fun to explore. Number 8, Thor. This one may be purely based on the costume over everything else. It was an incredibly power-evoking style change that still called back to the original while trimming the unnecessary extras. But the other interesting thing that this version of Thor brings is a whole question over whether he is in fact a god or not. His full name in the Ultimate Universe is Thorleif Gullman, and he suffered a nervous breakdown before his 30th birthday and began having delusions of Asgard. He was drafted to a project at the Dome that was trying to recreate the super soldier serum that created Captain America, but instead, they went the biomechanical route and created a harness that provided the wearer with the abilities of flight, super strength, and limited invulnerability. Now Thorleif Gullman, selected as the test subject, was fitted with the suit, but during the testing process, he started ranting about how he now believed he was actually the Norse god of thunder, like actually. For most of the Ultimate series, it was on the fence until the very end when it was finally confirmed that he was in fact the real Thor, marooned to Midgard with amnesia thanks to Loki's schemes. It's an interesting take on the character, and I think it's kinda cool. I like it. Number 7, Rogue. Similar to her Prime Universe version, Rogue, or Marion Carlisle, drains the life force and absorbs the memories and abilities of others through skin-to-skin contact, with the caveat being that she can end someone's life if she holds on too long. In the Ultimate Universe, Rogue actually gets picked up by the Weapon X program and is trained to use her abilities as an assassin. In the Prime Universe, it turns out using her powers on a mutant to the point of ending their life will actually permanently transfer these powers over to Rogue. This happened twice. First time was with Gambit. She drained his life force when he was already near the end after a fight with the mutant Juggernaut, and she gained his kinetic energy manipulation abilities plus sometimes his accent. The second time she did this, she drained the powers of Juggernaut himself when he was near death, gaining his abilities permanently, giving her the strength to throw cars, the durability to withstand demolishing buildings, super speed, and limitless stamina. Seeing Rogue wielding both Gambit's and Juggernaut's powers is strange, and yet very, very awesome. Number 6, Nightcrawler. Much like Rogue, the Ultimate Universe Kurt Wagner was kidnapped from Germany by Weapon X and brutally trained as one of their agents. But none of the brutal mistreatment dampened his spirits. He still remained true to his faith and even stopped Storm from killing the Weapon X commander. He was decidedly more serious than his main universe counterpart, and while some may not like that, I think it works here. I don't know. He struggled with his obvious physical differences, which made him lonely to the point of kidnapping Dazzler to manipulate her into falling in love with him. That part's not so great, but he did overcome his homophobia to be able to accept Colossus, which wins him a whole bunch of points. Also, his costume and overall look was just way better in my opinion, I don't know. Number 5. Captain America. Time to get controversial. Alright, look, many people hate that the Ultimate Universe turned Captain America into a nationalist, someone who would cheat, and someone who could criticize France. That's not what 616 Captain America would do, it's true, but this ain't 616, this is 1610, and here, things are a little bit more realistic. Sorry. The guy who runs around with the stars and stripes being a bit of a jerk from time to time? Hardly the worst offense in this world. The writers may have cleverly tried to embed the mindset of a common white man of his era and time, and I think they achieved that, even if fans hated it. This version of Captain America, while also being a bit of a jerk, is actually superhuman, as opposed to being just a peak level human being, which has him perform some pretty awesome feats. This power boost mixed with the fact that he is very willing to cheat and bend the rules to get the job done, he is a powerful character and should be as feared as he is respected. Maybe he isn't better in terms of morals or being a great guy, but he's what a real Cap would probably be like in my cynical brain, and in terms of sheer strength and power, I think he most definitely is better. Number 4, Mr. Sinister. Look, his Ultimate Universe version may not have the wow factor that his 616 self might, but in the Ultimate X-Men arc, the Tempest, the sorta goofy looking Victorian geneticist in a Liberace collar, Mr. Sinister, is reimagined as a schizophrenic street thug with a white tank top, weird tattoos, and a hat. And he's gunning down mutants to please his Lord Apocalypse, who isn't actually real and is actually an effigy Sinister has constructed out of trash. 4 issues of the X-Men chasing down a delusional mutant murderer were some of the best from the X-Men extended run in the Ultimate Universe in my opinion. Number 3, Magneto. The Ultimate Universe Magneto moves backwards away from the anti-hero crafted by Chris Claremont and back towards a return to the genocidal, aspiring dictator originally written by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. And I'd say that he gets there quite successfully. In the first volume of Ultimate X-Men, Magneto attacks Washington DC with reprogrammed Sentinels, massacring civilians while having President George W. Bush stripped to nothingness groveling at his feet. He is utterly insane and completely terrifying, which could be seen as a negative by fans of his anti-hero persona, or, if you're like me, it's a giant win for a villain to be truly hateable and terrifying. Either way, this comes to its head in the divisive Ultimatum, where Magneto drowns New York City and kills dozens of heroes, including his old friend Professor X, when he reverses the polarity of the Earth in an insane show of power that sets the Ultimatum wave loose on the world. Number 2, Red Skull. In the Ultimate Universe, Steve Rogers and a girlfriend at the time, Gail Richards, shared a night together in 1945 before he went and got himself popsicled. 9 months later, out popped a baby that the government decided needed to be kept a secret. They took the boy into foster care on a military base, training him to become a super soldier to replace his father. He soon became stronger and more tactically skillful than Captain America, even though he seemed to be a perfect soldier. Rogers' son had been carefully planning his escape. Fast forward to 1963 when he was finally at the age of 17. The son went off the handle, de-lifing all the doctors and soldiers at the facility. He also used the kitchen knife to carve the skin from his head, officially and literally becoming the Red Skull. In rebellion against the system that created him, Red Skull was the one who planned President John F. Kennedy's send-off to the grave. He becomes a mentally unstable assassin and tries to eventually steal Reed Richards' plans for the Cosmic Cube in order to use it to change history so he could grow up with his father. It's just a way better backstory for a Red Skull, in my opinion. And at number 1, it is Peter Parker. For a lot of people, Brian Michael Bendis' legendary Ultimate Spider-Man run, the one that kicked off the whole Ultimate Universe, is among the best of the best Spider-Man runs ever. Peter Parker is a modern-day 15-year-old, still trying to balance his life as a teenager and his life as a superhero. What's different from this version when compared to the Amazing Spider-Man is that Peter Parker's life is much more relatable and digestible for anyone born in the past 25 years. For starters, Peter isn't a photographer when he first starts at the Daily Bugle. Being a tech-savvy teenager, our hero is one of the Daily Bugle's top web designers. J. Jonah Jameson also isn't a bumbling buffoon. He's a battle-tested, competent newspaper editor that's well aware of how to handle his staff. Spider-Man's interactions with other heroes are a bit more grounded in Ultimate Spider-Man, as well as his love life being much more entertaining and realistic. Whether it's Kitty Pryde or Mary Jane Watson, Peter Parker's love life never has a dull moment. Even Spider-Man's physical appearance makes more sense. Peter Parker has the build of a realistic nerdy teenager, and the costume's huge bug-eyed lenses make for the perfect representation of a youthful hero. And we haven't even mentioned his humor yet! One of the best scenes in any Spidey comic comes when Ultimate Spider-Man's version of the hero goes toe-to-toe with the Kingpin for the first time. During the battle, old Webhead pulls out note cards filled with fat jokes mocking Wilson Fisk's size. Like, come on, it's great. Well, I can't wait to get torn apart by the comments, so what about you guys though? Were there any of these that you agreed with? Is the Ultimate Universe redeemable? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe here at Top 10 Nerd for more videos. I'm your host, Adam Andrews. You can find me down below, and until next time, peace out, nerds!